Today is Tuesday, July 30th. We'll tell you about President Biden's plan for a reformed U.S. Supreme Court and what Republicans in Congress have to say about it. Also, what we know about possible attempts to sabotage the Paris Olympics. Plus, a new test meant to make it easier to diagnose cancer. A new tool for influencers to turn themselves into AI. And a new trend that's making it feel like October in July. Those stories and more news to know next. And thanks to our sponsor, Guardian Bikes, designed for kids with kid-specific geometry. Shop Guardian Bikes this summer and save up to 25% off bikes. No code needed. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. President Biden this week laid out a top priority for his final 6 months in office. He wants to see sweeping reforms at the U.S. Supreme Court. Biden called on Congress to impose 18-year term limits on high court justices, so any single presidency won't be able to radically alter the makeup of the court for generations. He also wants to create an enforceable code of ethics, just like other federal judges have to abide by. Specifically, the code would require justices disclose gifts, refrain from public political activity, and recuse themselves from cases in which they or their spouses have any conflicts of interest. Plus, the president proposed a constitutional amendment to reverse the court's recent ruling that gave presidents broad immunity from criminal conviction. Biden explained his reasoning for all these proposals in an op-ed for the Washington Post, saying he just wants to, quote, restore trust and accountability to the court. And he says he plans to work with Congress to get it all done. But so far, at least, he does not have the support of powerful Republicans. For example, House Speaker Mike Johnson called Biden's proposal an effort to delegitimize the court, and he said the House would not consider them. So, to be continued. Remember we told you how Venezuela's authoritarian leader claimed re-election victory this week? Well, now more people are questioning whether that was really the will of the people, including thousands of protesters who have been demonstrating all around Venezuela. Protests even reached traditional government strongholds that have not seen political unrest in more than 2 decades. For example, one group of people tried to make it to the presidential palace, lighting tires on fire along the way. Though troops responded by firing into the air and police used tear gas to disperse the protests. And that's just one example of protests that turned hostile. Venezuela's National Electoral Council is loyal to current President Nicolas Maduro, and it officially declared him the winner, giving him a third 6-year term. But it did not release detailed voting results, which it usually does. Several foreign governments, including the U.S. and European Union, have held off recognizing the election results, while American adversaries like China, Iran, and Russia have congratulated Maduro on a win. Unfortunately, we have to tell you about an incident that left the UK in shock and mourning. A knife-wielding suspect attacked a Taylor Swift-themed dance class for children in northwest England. 2 children were killed and 9 more were badly hurt. Authorities say 2 adults were also hurt trying to protect the children. So far, investigators don't have a motive for the attack, but they say they don't believe it's terrorism-related. They arrested a 17-year-old in connection to the stabbings and say they're not looking for anyone else. French officials say they're looking into what could be the second act of sabotage in just a matter of days. This time, fiber optic cables were cut in many regions of France, and several telecommunications providers around the country were impacted. But the Paris Olympic Games were able to go on as scheduled. This latest act of vandalism came just days after arson attacks hit train networks around France on Friday, just hours before the Olympics' opening ceremony. It disrupted travel for nearly 1 million passengers in France and other neighboring countries. There are now national investigations underway into both incidents. Because of the timing and nature of them, officials say they're considering connecting the investigations, labeling them as acts of sabotage at a time when the whole world has its eyes on the Olympic and Paralympic Games. So far, no arrests have been announced in either of the 2 cases. By the way, even though criminals have not been able to successfully derail the Olympic Games, another threat has. The men's Olympic triathlon had to be postponed today because of concerns over water quality in Paris's Seine River. It's something that's been a concern for a while now. Ahead of the Summer Games, organizers spent more than $1.5 billion trying to overcome the river's high levels of E. coli bacteria. And in a series of tests earlier this month, it was found to be clean enough for swimming competitions. But it seems heavy rainfall in Paris lately set that progress back. So for now, the event is being postponed by at least a day. Most Summer Olympic events have been able to go on as scheduled, filled with big names and some surprising medal results. The American men won bronze in the gymnastics team competition, their first medal in the event since 2008. Americans took home medals in women's and men's swimming and men's street skateboarding. At this point, Team USA is still leading in the medal count, and today's another exciting day. American gymnast Simone Biles is slated to perform on all 4 apparatuses in the women's team final. Former NBA player Chase Budinger will compete in the men's beach volleyball tournament. Plus, there are more events in basketball, fencing, water polo, swimming, rugby, and more. We have more news for you still coming up, but first, this episode is sponsored by Honeylove. It's summer, which means more social events, more weddings to attend, more nights out on the town, and hopefully more vacations. In fact, I just got back from a family member's wedding, and we have another trip coming up soon. And whenever I have a special event, I'm thankful for our sponsor today, Honeylove, because they honestly have the best shapewear. They've revolutionized compression technology so you can look and feel great. No more suffocating while wearing effective shapewear. I also really appreciate that it's the only shapewear I found that won't ever roll down or up, no matter how much you walk around or hit up the dance floor. I don't want to be tugging at my clothes while I'm trying to enjoy myself, and I never have to with Honeylove. Plus, the design is actually cute, so I don't feel frumpy wearing shapewear. Instead, with shapewear like the Superpower Short, you get a flawless silhouette under any outfit. So treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/newsworthy. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off, honeylove.com/newsworthy. And after you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, so please support our show and tell them we sent you. The summer vibes are just getting started, so shape your life with Honeylove. This episode is also brought to you by Ibotta. Sandals, sunscreen, snacks, buying all those summer essentials for the pool or your next vacation can really add up. Or perhaps you're already thinking about back-to-school items. But here's the thing. With Ibotta, you don't need to stress about the cost. You can get cash back on all your purchases. Yep, Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop. You can earn on hundreds of items from groceries to beauty supplies, even toys. In fact, the average Ibotta user earns $256 per year, which, could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip or flight you've been eyeing. Simply add offers in the app, upload your receipt, and voila, the money is yours. Look, I'm never going to be someone who physically cuts out coupons, but with Ibotta, it's really fast and easy on my phone. And right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code NEWSWORTHY when you register. Go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app to start earning cash back and use code NEWSWORTHY. That's Ibotta, IBOTTA, in the Google Play or App Store and use the code NEWSWORTHY. Now back to the news. People enjoying a summer day at a theme park ended up dealing with some rare severe weather. Strong storms sent floodwaters rushing through Dollywood in East Tennessee, and park visitors had to flee. Some of them waded through nearly waist-deep water just to get to their cars, and many ended up stranded in the parking lot. Even more rain is expected in the area today. Meanwhile, people are dealing with another rare problem in West Texas, recurring earthquakes. More than 100 quakes have been reported in just 1 week, and more than half of them have been magnitude 3 or greater, causing some damage. Texas in general is not a very seismically active part of the country, so geophysicists say the quakes are 99% likely to be linked to local oil fields. Now the Railroad Commission of Texas is looking into the connection and will figure out the next steps to avoid future earthquakes. A prominent doctors group is weighing in on a procedure that's become common for infants, saying the number of procedures has gone up, yet a lot of the time, they're not needed. The American Academy of Pediatrics put out a new report about tongue ties this week. Tongue ties happen when babies are born with tight or short bands of tissue that tether the bottom of the tongue's tip to the floor of their mouths. The Mayo Clinic says up to 10% of newborns have it. The condition can make it hard for the baby to extend and lift their tongue, often leading to troubles breastfeeding and pronouncing certain sounds, as well as other problems later in life. So more and more, it's getting corrected by using scissors or lasers to cut away some of the baby's tongue tissue. Here's the thing, though. While that might correct the problem, it can also cause pain for babies. And some healthcare professionals say with time, the band of tissue can stretch on its own and the surgery won't be necessary. So the Academy is encouraging pediatricians and other medical professionals to consider non-surgical options first. Generally, most experts suggest taking it on a case-by-case basis, and they say parents should always consult with their child's pediatrician first. There's a new tool that could help people screen for the second highest cause of cancer deaths in the U.S. The FDA approved a new blood test to screen for colon cancer. It's not meant to replace colonoscopies, but there's hope it will encourage more people to get checked, especially since reports say as many as 50% of people who should be getting screened regularly aren't. The new test requires only a sample of blood taken as part of a routine exam at a doctor's office or commercial lab. And research has shown it can find most cancers when they're early stage and usually curable. That said, it doesn't have a great record of finding growths before they turn cancerous the way colonoscopies do. And removing those pre-cancerous growths can help prevent cancer from ever showing up. Still, the FDA decided it would be good to add another screening option. It's now approved for people 45 and older who are at average risk for colon cancer. And the test will be available within a week. Instagram unveiled a new tool that lets you build your own artificial intelligence chatbots. It's called AI Studio. Instagram's parent company Meta says it will help people build virtual characters with custom personalities, traits, and interests. CEO Mark Zuckerberg says he expects people to use them for role-playing. Like if you want to practice asking for a raise, the chatbot can act as a boss and give you feedback. Another option, you could create a chatbot based on your own personality and have that character interact with your followers. Some popular influencers have apparently already created doppelganger bots just to respond to direct messages. That said, there are some restrictions, like you can't make the chatbots behave like anyone real other than yourself, and that includes historical figures. The tool already started rolling out to Instagram business account users, and it will be available to everyone in the U.S. over the next few weeks. Halloween fans apparently cannot wait any longer. Summerween is now becoming a new trend. Retailers are apparently on board. Certain Lowe's, Target, Michael's, HomeGoods, and Costco stores have been stocked with Halloween merchandise. Home Depot has been for quite a while pushing out this year's fall holiday decor online back in April. And the market seems to be there. Influencers have been embracing the Summerween trend online, some even throwing Halloween-themed parties in the middle of summer, complete with jack-o'-lanterns made out of watermelons instead of pumpkins, spooky beach towels, and inflatable pools filled with skeletons. Granted, some traditions will actually have to wait until fall. Things like costumes, haunted hay rides, and pumpkin spice lattes aren't available just yet. That's it for the main news today, so now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. Today's trivia question is, what food was once used as an eraser? You can play along with us in our weekly roundup email that comes out each Friday. As for last week's trivia question, what's the only country named after a woman? The answer is St. Lucia. In case you're not familiar, St. Lucia is one of the Caribbean's most beautiful destinations with lush rainforests and warm beaches. Legend has it that the island's first residents settled there when their ship got wrecked on December 13th, sometime in the 1500s. And that same date was celebrated as St. Lucy's Day in their European homeland. And it's a pretty inspiring day, since St. Lucy of Syracuse was known for dedicating her life to helping people. So the new settlers decided to name the island after her, and it's kept that same name for centuries. Well, thank you so much for listening, and thank you to the Newsworthy Insiders for all your support. You can get ad-free episodes by becoming a Newsworthy Insider. We'll be back tomorrow with more news you need to know. And thank you again to our sponsor, Guardian Bikes, designed for kids with kid-specific geometry. They're lightweight, have a low center of gravity, wide wheelbase, smaller hand grips, and a closer handbrake for smaller limbs. They even offer a 365-day money-back guarantee in case your child does not like their bike or you need a different size. They trust their product that much. And we have certainly kept our Guardian bike. Our 3-year-old loves his new bike. He said so himself. Shop Guardian Bikes this summer and save up to 25% off bikes, no code needed. Plus, receive a free lock and pump with your first purchase after signing up for the newsletter. Terms and conditions apply. Shop Guardian Bikes. Okay, thanks again for listening. Have a great day.